G'day folks, Scott here. Today I'm reviewing Red Sparrow. Now I knew nothing about this movie going into it other than the fact that Jennifer Lawrence was in it and it was like a spy movie about a chick. I had it in my head that it was going to be a Long Kiss Goodnight, Atomic Blonde kind of girl power action movie. As always, I don't watch trailers, I don't read reviews, I don't want to know anything about a movie before I go and see it. That changed a little bit because yesterday when I was looking on the IGN website at Video Game News, they've suddenly decided with their movie review scores, they're going to put the score on the thumbnail so you see it without even opening the article. Pissed me off massively. I don't like knowing. So before I knew it, I realized that they gave this a 2.5 out of 10 and straight away put it in my head that this was going to be a shithouse movie. So as I was walking out the door to go see it, and sort of it came up in conversation that, I guess I'll go see the Atomic Blonde type action film now. And the wife was like, that's not that kind of movie. She'd seen the trailer for it. She's like, this is a super serious movie from what she'd seen in the trailers. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that either. So, I was kind of glad she told me that. So anyway, I went off and saw the movie. This movie is, I'm glad I was told that going into it actually, it's not a girl power action movie. It's not like the two movies that I thought it was going to be like. This is a pretty serious spy drama written by a guy who apparently used to be a CIA agent. This is a pretty confronting movie. Now before any of my horror friends start going, what do you mean confronting? All the hardcore elements in this that most of the public will probably find, confrontational, you've seen worse. If you're a big horror fan, you've watched a lot of 70s, 80s and current horror movies, especially European horror movies. This isn't anything like them, don't think I'm overhyping it. But for your general audience who are like, oh, I liked Jennifer Lawrence in The Hunger Games and that cute space movie she did with Chris Pratt, you're in for a rude awakening. This is a pretty confrontational movie, as I've said a couple of times now. This is about a prima ballerina. On a side note, I'd be very interested to know if Jennifer Lawrence did her own ballet in the beginning of this movie, because if she did, good job, mate. It was pretty impressive. If she didn't, whatever. But it's about this prima ballerina who has like a catastrophic leg break that ends her career. And she has a family member who's involved in the KGB or some kind of Russian intelligence. And she gets recruited to basically become, a Sparrow. The Sparrows are basically people who are brought into this secret agency in the Russian government who are basically told to use sex and manipulation and their bodies as a tool of gathering information from potential targets and being able to close themselves off from the, depraved things that they would have to do. And that's where it comes back to the fact that, you may find this movie pretty offensive if you're not used to films that are bleak and confrontational. There is rape and sexual violence, sexual abuse, psychological abuse, torture, some pretty intense violence and other things in this movie. That kind of takes me back to this review from this guy from IGN who gave it 2.5. I sat through the movie wondering, how did this get a 2.5? This isn't a terrible movie. It's got its problems that I'll go over soon, but 2.5 means train wreck. So again, going against my grain of how I normally handle this review process, I actually came home from the movie and loaded up that guy's review because I wanted to know why he gave it such a deplorable score. He gave it a deplorable score because he found all those elements I just spoke about too offensive, too confronting, and too hard-hitting for him as an audience member to be able to sit through. He expected popcorn entertainment. Now, it's not your job as a reviewer to take something that offended you on a moral basis and project that onto everybody else without good explanation on why you did so. Just because this guy found these elements confrontational and wanted more of a happy movie experience at the cinema, that doesn't mean that the people who made this movie can't choose dark subject matter to make their movie about and have it still be a well-made, watchable film. You fall into the category where you find that stuff offensive and this may not be the movie for you, or you find the fact that, you can appreciate a dark story because it's about a dark, series of events that happen to this girl and still take something away from it. This movie does not glorify sexual violence or psychological abuse or any of the themes I mentioned. It certainly doesn't exploit them. It's just about these things that happen to this character during the story arc of this story. And yeah, she goes through some awful shit in this. It's not irreversible bad, but, it's like I said, for your mainstream audience, and a lot of whom will just go see a movie because Jennifer Lawrence is in it, you might be a little blown away by it. My problems with the movie are its running time is over 2.5 hours, and it's a long, bleak movie. I found it very entertaining in the story and the way the story unfolded, and I really enjoyed it and I liked it. But there were whole scenes in this that could have been condensed, that still could have got their point across, and could have reduced the running time pretty dramatically to, maybe move the pacing along. It was beautifully shot, really, really well shot. The cinematography was great. Obviously, Russia is bleak when it's winter and it's grey and oppressive, and, lots of really glorious wide-angle shots and cool interiors and great set design, and it was very well framed, and I liked all that. The score was really good. Another complaint I would have is this is a story set in Russia about Russians, but starring a whole bunch of Americans putting on thick Russian accents. And for me, that always just puts me off. Like, if your story is set about Russian people in Russia, for God's sake, just hire Russians and speak Russian. I'll read the subtitles. I'll read them happily. At least then I won't be pulled out of it by going, her accent sometimes sounded like someone putting on a Count Dracula, like, I've come to suck your blood kind of thing. And it didn't work. And even worse than that is there was a scene in this movie with her and this other guy who literally, in mid-sentence, he started speaking Russian to her, even though they're supposed to be Russian in Russia, and there were subtitles came up on the screen. So am I meant to believe for the rest of the movie that all these people in Russia, where there's no English or American people present, are speaking English in thick Russian accents instead of speaking in their native language? That really I found jarring and kind of stupid. Joel Edgerton was in this movie. Great actor. He can't do anything wrong at the moment. He's made some fantastic choices. If you've never seen the movie he made called The Gift, incredible. He's really good, and I didn't know he was going to be in it. It was a great surprise. I really enjoy him. Jeremy Irons was in it as well. There's some other actors I recognize, but I don't know the name of. It told, like I said, it told a good story. It told it well. It's dark, it's confrontational. If you don't like those elements, don't go see it. If you do, then go see it, just knowing that this isn't an action movie, it's a political thriller. There's no gunfights or car chases or leaping through windows or any of these kind of elements that you would expect from that kind of movie. It's, a lot of dialogue and a lot of story and a lot of character development, so be warned if you're going to go in and see it. But there's certainly worse movies out there. I truly expected it to be a piece of shit based on that IGN review score. And, I'm glad I still went and saw it and saw that it wasn't. But it's a movie for a specific audience. And if you can't go in and enjoy something that's bleak and oppressive, then don't go see it. That's really all I've got to say about it. As always, thanks for watching the review. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. And I'll see you next time.